My recruitment by the FBI was very efficient, very simple, really. I'd stolen a car and went joyriding over the state limit, and they had a potential case against me, and I was looking for an opportunity to work it off.
You're looking at 18 months for the stolen car, 5 years for impersonating a federal officer.
Repeat after me. I am a revolutionary.
Or you can go home.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder a liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. You can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
We got a rap, man.
Does anybody else know about me?
No one knows your identity.
Are you sure?
It's cold and it was blood everywhere and it was holes in the wall and then I was, I just began to realize that the information that I supplied leading up to that moment had facilitated that raid.
How long you hoping that'll last? For they catch you slipping and give you something that you know you had to have. That let's say you keep your mouth shut and take the blame for it. Now you need money on your books, ain't no one paying for it. No visitations or no letters you've been waiting for. That that you've been craving for. You may not get late no more.
It's the catch up. You should catch up.
Woo! What's going on, everybody?
You should catch up. We gon' catch up.
Welcome to the very, very late 2021 kickoff, episode 14 for the Catch Up Podcast. Man, episode 13 kicked my butt, man. I ain't did anything since September, something like that. I'm back, I think. Let me check my cameras real quick. 2, 3, close up. All right, stick with this for right now. I need an air horn. Yay. All right. Shout out to Sleepy Joe, man. Got my check. AKA Moneybag Joe, AKA the real vice president.
Come on, man.
I got the Joe Biden drop. All right. Man, it's been a long time. I've had a good break. Woo. All right. So before I get into tonight's show, just a quick rundown. Going to be doing the review for Judas and the Black Messiah, also coming to America with the number 2, and my top albums of 2020. I meant to do my top albums, I meant to do that at the end of the year. It was supposed to be, usually I end the year off with my top albums, and I just never got around to it. My new year sucked. It was horrible. So I'm gonna get into that story in just a bit. So if y'all want to hear my story, of course the timestamps are going to be listed somewhere on this screen when I do the post edit. So let's get into it. How was everybody's new year? Mine, not so good. Let's go back in time. This is gonna be the first time I tell this story publicly. Only people that know are the people that I work with. But anyway, so working out of town, going to Iowa, real bad snow up there, right? And I'm driving. I'm about 30 minutes from my destination, and it's some snow coming down, but it's not like heavy. It's like it just got started. And I must have hit some black ice or something, and I swerved off the highway. I ain't talking about a little swerve. I'm talking about swerve, hit a fish hook, landed in the ditch. Yep. And luckily, I was able to get pulled out. I was stuck in some mud, but I got pulled out, and I was able to drive the rest of the way. But the whole week, I was hearing this noise from my car. I thought maybe it was some dirt stuck on my brake or something like that, because I was deep in the mud. So I was like, let me just ride on it, but stayed there the whole week, got ready to leave, and it was still making that noise. So then I started to get a little worried, but I was just like, man, let's just take it home. Got an 8-hour drive home, by the way. So I get like 4 hours down the road to Jackson, Missouri. I stop at the gas station. I pull off the gas station, and then that's when I hear clunk. So pretty much my axle snapped. And I think this was Friday, because I was heading back for New Year. New Year's Friday, so it was Friday. And of course, nobody's open, so had to get a hotel room and just took my truck to the nearest shop. And Saturday, shop opened back up, went to him, and the guy was like, do you go to church? And I said, yeah, but I haven't been physically in a while, COVID, everything like that. But yeah, I pray before I usually hit the road, and God must have answered my prayer that day, because he showed me my axle. It was completely snapped. It was gone. So that was gone, and then I had to do my rotors. They were gone. It was all on the left side, of course. You know, if you fix rotors on one side, you got to do them on the other. So I had to fix both my rotors, brake pads, and I needed a new axle, which ended up costing me about a little over $800. And once again, Sleepy Joe came through with that $600. It just hit my account. Now I'm like, I got a little emergency fund built, so it was no problem anyway. But that 600, show took the sting off. But it came that day, that Saturday. When I was in the hotel room, I just happened to look at my account. I'm like, dang, it hit my account. Okay, so that's when my first refund hit. Not refund, but stimulus. And so yeah. And so Saturday, I still had to wait because they couldn't get the part until like around 4 or 5-ish, and they weren't gonna have enough time to put it on before it closed. So I had to stay Saturday. Then Sunday comes. So of course they weren't open on Sunday, so I had to stay Sunday and stay until Monday. So the only good thing out of it was I didn't have to go back to work on Monday. But I finally got it fixed on Monday, headed back home, and I was like, man, that was a horrible New Year, but I was safe and God kept me. So that's my story for the day. But yeah. How was y'all New Year? Did it suck? What did y'all do? Me, I stayed in the hotel all night. I wasn't doing anything. I'm not a New Year person anyway. I hate New Year's. Because by the time you get down to Christmas, you're beat down from the holidays. And personally, me, I just want to kick back and just say Happy New Year. That's it. But yeah, that was my New Year, man. But other than that, that's my story. Anything else that I need to go? Anything else recent been happening? I only planned this short review. And I'm going to go into my albums here, but anything going on? Oh, yeah. Team Jackson, what's happening? Derek Jackson out here caught this man lacking. That was surprised me, man. Yeah, Mr. Relationship Guru. Yeah, he's slacking, but his woman standing by his side in that bonnet, I might add. That's a whole nother episode. Oh my God. I feel some type of way about bonnets. I'm sorry, ladies, but I don't want to hurt no feelings. So I ain't gonna talk about that right now, but I feel some type of way about bonnets. But anyway, so yeah, that happened. I really haven't researched that much into it to really talk about it. I just thought that was funny. But yeah, Derek Jackson, man. Called lacking. What else? Had the Harry and Meghan going on. I was like, not really much into that. She getting that Negro wake up call over there, over on the other side of the pond. All right, so what y'all doing with y'all stimming, man? What y'all doing with it? Are y'all saving it? Save your stimulus. I saved most of mine, and with the rest of the like $300-$400, upgraded to this new mixer here. I'm loving it so far. Unfortunately, it's not fully compatible with my old mic that y'all usually see me use, and this one, this is a real cheap quality. I'm not gonna lie, but it's not bad for $100, man. But if you need a mic, you want to get started, hey, this Mayono Caster, that's the name of this. So check that out, Mayono Caster Light. This is the light version of it. So yeah, drink my water here. All right, y'all. So let's get into today's review. I'm gonna be starting things off with Judas and the Black Messiah. Very good movie, by the way. Shout out to HBO Max. That's what I watched it on. I get it free because it already comes with my ATT plan, so I didn't pay anything for it at all. Are people gonna be going to the movies anymore? I don't know. I think this is probably gonna be a thing with the movies are stream, of course, for a limited time. And it's pretty cool. I never was a big movie theater person anyway. So yeah, I think it's a good service. But anyway, Judas and the Black Messiah. Where should I start here? Of course, this is going to be a spoiler review. I'm gonna try to keep the spoilers down as much as I can if you have not seen it. But I will say it is a good watch. I learned a new figure in history. I was not even aware of Fred Hampton, to be honest. I'm really not too much up to speed on the Black Panther Party anyway. When you learn about it in school, you really don't hear about it that much. You hear about Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, some of the other noticeable figures during the civil rights period, Rosa Parks. The list goes on, but you don't really hear about the Black Panther Party. At least I don't remember hearing of it. Maybe vaguely. All right, so I'm not gonna go to it and far as the plot into detail and recap the whole movie. I just want to kind of spotlight some characters as far as the cast is concerned. So I'll start off with Fred Hampton, played by Daniel Kaluuya, and he played this role to a T. I went back and looked for the real Fred Hampton and like some of his, his speech and his mannerisms, and I think he had it down pat. So one issue that I see as come up as far as him playing this role is, of course, he's a British actor. And I'm always amazed by how British actors are able to just spew out an American accent. Most notably, the two guys from Walking Dead, the guy who plays Rick Grimes with the Southern accent, and Lenny James, the black guy who plays crap. I know his real name, but I don't know his name on The Walking Dead. The black guy on The Walking Dead, man, in season 1. Y'all know who I'm talking about for Walking Dead's fans. Both of them British actors, but they just totally switch it up. I'm just always kind of amazed by it. And personally, me, I'm not bothered that it's not I guess you could say, a foundational black American playing these roles, but I can see the argument that more of these roles need to be played by our native black Americans. But to be fair, this is not so much about Fred Hampton. I guess he is a main character and a prominent figure in this movie, but the movie is called Judas and the Black Messiah. So this movie is really more so about William O Neal, who is the informant for the FBI, and his perspective going throughout the movie. So that's more, what the movie is about. And I actually like that the route they went with that, instead of going, the normal route that they would usually go and focus on maybe like Fred Hampton or something like that. So, but I'll get to Lakeith Stanfield That's a bad dude, man. That's all I gotta say. Um, but yeah, going back to Daniel's character, Fred Hampton, and the whole, casting non-black actors. Well, not he's black, but non-American actors. But yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but I can see the argument for it. But yeah, that's pretty much it on that topic. As far as um, Black Americans playing Black American roles. But yeah, give me y'all thoughts on that. Do y'all think that more people domestically, more black people domestically should play these type of roles instead of getting somebody way over yonder? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he played the character to a T, and I think at the end of the day, all that matters is can you play the character. Um, Things I liked about his character, those speeches, man. I feel like I was a Black Panther. I'm gonna die by the people, gotta live by the people. I live for the people because I love my people. uh, I'm gonna learn that whole speech, and also his, I guess you could say, his diplomacy. Him being able to gather different groups from the white groups, the white Southern group in there. Well, my question was, okay, this was in Chicago. What's up with the white guys and the Confederate flags in Chicago? I don't know if that was accurate or was that just for like, movie, but yeah. So there's that, and then the Latinos, and you had the other rival gangs within the movie. I think Crowns or something like that was one of the highlighted, gangs or whatever, or opposition to the Black Panthers. But yeah, I thought it was cool how we got those groups together, and he just had a way with words and things of that nature. So yeah, that's the things I really saw that were highlighted with Fred Hampton, and how Daniel played him. So moving on into the next character that I noticed was Dominique Fishback, who plays Deborah Johnson. I've only seen her in one movie, and that is Project Power, which was also a good movie as well. Even though I found it kind of funny that she jumped from, I think in that movie she was supposed to be like a teenager, maybe like 15, 16, and now she, a whole grown woman. So it's kind of a whole contrast between two roles, but she did this role well. So I liked her performance, but I'll say that I like how she was used to, I guess, humanize Fred Hampton, because in this movie you see him as this powerful, electrifying, charismatic speaker that can lead a group of people and gather different races and stuff like that, and put them on one accord. And we saw this powerful guy, become this shy, mellow guy around her. So I like how they did that as well. Now, time for my favorite character of this movie, Lakeith Stanfield. He did this thing. He played him a little too well. Maybe he know a little something about being an informant. But yeah, he portrayed this character very well. You felt like conflicted. I felt conflicted. Shoot. I know whether to be sorry for the guy or just be angry with him. But yeah, definitely my favorite character of the movie. And but like I said, his confliction, man, you could feel it. I feel like at times he enjoyed what he did. Like when I say enjoyed what he did, he had like maybe a satisfaction from finessing or tricking the Black Panthers. There were certain scenes like where the Panthers went to meet the Crowns, And then one of the crowns had pointed him out because he remembered him from the club when he was trying to impersonate as an officer or whatever to steal his car. And so he points him out. You the guy that robbed us. Da 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 da. And then the female Panther, I forgot her name. I guess she's kind of like a lieutenant or whatever. She has him in the car, and then they're interviewing him, and then he just finessed his way out of that so smooth. They was talking about how you got the car, and then I think they asked like, so if you hotwire the car, because they tested him to see if he could hotwire the car, and then he hotwired the car. He said, so if you hotwire the car, why you have a brand new ignition? He said, dang, what did he say? He said, you think I'm gonna ride around with a broken ignition? I went to go get it fixed, fool, or something like that. So I was like, man, he played that so smooth. And it was like maybe 2 or 3 times where he did this. And you can kind of see his facial expression where you get that little smirk, like, aha, I got over on them. So it was moments like that. So like I said, he enjoyed it. And then there were other times where, he looked remorseful, like where he, towards the end, and where he spiked Fred Hampton's drink, and he was just looking so sad. He was like, you want a refill, brother? But also I felt that he was very invested in the Black Panther Party, even though he had an ulterior motive, but just going deeper and deeper, undercover. I think he felt like a Black Panther, and you can see that in the scene where Fred Hampton gives that prolific speech, I am a revolutionary, on that part. And he has his fist up in the air and he's just repeating after him. And he's into it. And even Roy Mitchell, the his guy that he informs to, he was in the crowd and he could see that he was into it. So he was invested with the Black Panther Party as well. So you have this guy that's selfish and has his own motives, trying to stay out of jail, but at the same time is getting a little kickback for this information. Then you got the guy that's fearing for his life because at any time he can get found out. And then the Black Panthers, because it was more informants, and if you got found out you was an informant, it's over with. It's going to end very badly. So he had that fear, and then at the same time he seemed invested into what the Black Panther Party stood for as he went down deeper in that rabbit hole. The one thing I wanted to touch on before I end this review was the actual review for William O Neal, and that's what I played at the beginning of the podcast. That's the real William O Neal, who actually committed suicide. I think they said 2 days after that aired on PBS. So that's crazy. So he felt some type of confliction going on. But if you look at the interview, I just Googled William O Neal interview, and I found this is like an uncut version on Vimeo where it's non-edited, and they're starting and stopping and repeating some of the interview questions. So I thought that was kind of interesting as far as how interviews go to make them appear better on TV. So but yeah, it's an uncut version. I think it's like about an hour long. So it takes a while to get through it, but it's an interesting look. So it should be like the first link. It's on Vimeo if y'all want to check it out. But yeah, there are some differences between if I'm going by what he said on the interview, there are some differences between the movie and the actual character of him. So in the movie, I guess towards the end, it shows he's like real remorseful. Definitely towards the end where he's giving Fred Hampton the spike drink. But according to the interview, that never happened. So we never really actually know. He says it didn't happen. He says he didn't, drug Fred Hampton or whatever. So that part never happened. That's just speculation and a rumor as far as I know. And he also said he felt bad, but at the same time, he didn't feel like he didn't take responsibility for it. He didn't pull the trigger, as he said in the interview. but he did feel bad for us. So I guess there was some remorse, but it's not as he didn't seem, unless he was hiding it, it didn't seem like he was as conflicted as it shows in the movie. In the movie, you could feel it. And here is like, I did what I did, you know what I'm saying? But he kind of came off as selfish at the same time. He said he had to do what he had to do. And then like towards the end of the interview, he was like, I forget the actual words, but he was like, man, y'all wasn't with me shooting in the gym, basically. Y'all wasn't out here getting down, getting in the streets. So it's easy to talk from afar, being that you weren't in the situation. So I guess I could kind of agree with him from that perspective. Because I wasn't in the 60s or the 70s in that era. I don't know what I would have did. I don't know what I would have did if I was in that situation. Would you squeal if you were O'Neal? I mean, after watching the movie, I think he went through more trouble he would if he would have just went to jail. I forgot how long he said that the charges were for. I think he would have served like 5 years. Am I wrong? I don't know. I would have to go back and look at the movie. But I think I would have just took that charge, because all the stuff he went through, then having to pretty much be responsible for killing Fred Hampton, or at least indirectly, if it is true that he drugged him. So yeah, I think I would have just took the charge. But at the same time, that's a real hard situation to be in. And not only was he conflicted, Roy Mitchell seemed conflicted in the movie as well, because it seemed like at times he was very reluctant. So it was kind of like, I got to do what I got to do. And then his bosses were pretty much kind of low key threatening him. J. Edgar Hoover, director of FBI, he kind of low key threatened him during the movie when he asked him, what's going to happen when your daughter brings a color home or something. He asked him something like that. So they were kind of similar in that fashion. And as far as the interview is concerned, it seemed like he made it seem like they kind of grew into a somewhat of a friendship, at least for a short while. So, and I think he even said he looked up to him as a role model or something like that. William O Neal did. He said what Roy Mitchell was to him. One more thing I have here was the lead up to Fred Hampton's death. I think they could have touched on it a little bit more, maybe a little bit more in detail. We saw him, this strong, charismatic character in the movie, and sometimes shy, but I don't know if we necessarily seen him like scared. You know what I'm saying? I guess I know towards the end movie there was everybody was talking about how they need to get him out the country and stuff like that. So they showed that, but in the O'Neal interview, he said that like after the the police shootouts and he went to jail, he said he was a little more cautious. Hampton was. He would have multiple bodyguards. Also, what else do I have here? He was reluctant to take speaking engagements after all this stuff had passed. So we didn't see that stuff in the movie necessarily. So I would have liked to see that, but you can only do so much with that. But then again, the movie wasn't about Hampton. It was about O'Neal. So I guess I could understand from that point, but I would like to see that if possible. But yeah, I told y'all William O Neal's my favorite character. That's why I spent so much time on him. But I guess I'll end things out by going into my best moments of this movie. Just the whole speech part after he got out of jail. Fred Hampton, I'm free. You can murder freedom You can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder a revolution. You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder a liberation. Something like that. I think I got them backwards. I'm gonna die for the people because I live for the people. I live for the people because I love my people. Oh man, I love that part. I am a revolutionary. And there was the shootout scene as well. I thought that was a pretty good scene. And of course, Lakeith Stanfield, he's like, I'm gonna go up to the top of the roof. Like I said, he got out of these situations so smooth. It was crazy. Let's see what else. Also, I think I talked about this earlier, but when the car scene where he had to explain himself and show that he wasn't an informant or whatever when he was being questioned by the Lady Panther car. So I like that scene as well. And of course, towards the end of the movie where, asked Fred Hampton if he wants a refill, and he's just looking sad. You want a refill, chairman? You want a refill, chairman? So yeah, those were my favorite moments of the movie. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for my review for Judas and the Black Messiah. So I'm gonna move on into Coming to America. I'm not gonna stay as long on this, y'all. I'll just say I enjoyed the nostalgia, man. I did not take it seriously as everybody else. I did see all the posts on Facebook that they shouldn't have made this, which is, I guess, is sort of true. If they wanted to do a sequel, I think the time passed for that. They should have did that maybe a year or two after the original if they were going to go for a sequel. But I mean, the climate that we're in socially, you can't even have what the first movie was. It would be too what's the word I'm looking for? Offensive today. You saw a lot of woke moments in the movie. You saw a lot of woke moments in the movie. You saw a lot of themes like woman empowerment with his daughter wanted to be queen but couldn't rule Zamunda because only men could rule Zamunda. So you had that little storyline thread in there. And also you had a little bit of the gay and transsexual talk going on, but it wasn't like explicit or anything. There wasn't like any gay scenes. I was seeing statements online about how woke it was trying to be. So I thought I was going to see something like that. I thought I was going to see some Empire type stuff going on, but I didn't see anything like that. I mean, it was okay. I didn't have a problem with it. But yeah, I mean, for those of you who expected this to be like a good movie, why? There was no way. Not in this climate, not in this time. A lot of the actors are older. Also, speaking of older, the chick who plays Lisa, she still look good, man. I don't care. But her role felt kind of minor in this as opposed to the first one. But I guess it's not really about them anymore so much for the next generation. But it was nice seeing her. But I haven't seen her in any movies except maybe I have seen her, but I probably can't remember. But only thing I remember from is the first Coming to America. So I'm glad that they got her back. Of course, Eddie's in there. Simi's back, even though he's a little on the thicker side. But I thought they did an amazing job with that scene where they went to the flashback and they showed how Eddie Murphy had pretty much got raped by old girl's character. I can't remember her name right now. And I don't know how the green screen CGI, but they made it look like Simi from the past in the current movie. So I thought that was kind of dope how they did that. Any other characters that I noticed? It was a lot of them. There was a whole nostalgia trip. Mr. McDowell is still in there. James Evans is still looks dang near the same. Louis Anderson, I got a kick out of that. I was like, Louis Anderson still alive. Louis Anderson, the man's still alive. I'm just putting death on people. What else? Randy Watson towards the end. That was a nice surprise towards the end. I'm like, y'all gotta have Randy Watson in there. Missing characters. A lot of people were talking about Daryl. I'm like, I guess he could come back. Why would he come back? You know, she got rid of him. He should no longer be in the picture. And then Sam Jackson's character, the guy who robbed the McDowells in the first one. It would have been nice to see Samuel L. Jackson in here, but you know, there was no need for them. You know what I'm saying? But it would have been nice to see Lisa's sister. I think they should have had her in there, but yeah. But other than that, anything else? I pretty much went over everything. As far as the plot, it's pretty much a rehash of the first one, just with the new generation. Akeem has a bastard son. He goes to find his son in America. That's the only time they came to America, and most of this took place in Zamunda. So, yeah, so he's trying to get his son to be king, and then you have this thing with the daughter. She wants to be the queen of Zamunda, and she wants to be the ruler. And they even had this kind of thing. At first, I thought they were going there with the whole they're kind of brother and sister. Well, not kind of, they are brother and sister, half brother, half sister. And it kind of looked like they were going for a love thing between the two. I was like, are they going there? But no, he ended up falling for his barber, and that's pretty much where the whole cycle, goes around again. As far as finding, the love that he wants and not what his father wants. So pretty much Eddie Murphy is King Joffrey in this. So somehow he magically transformed into his father. I thought that was kind of just out of nowhere, because in the first movie, he's all, I gotta find my love on my own, gotta find my own love, all that. I'm not with the prearranged marriage. And then here he's just like, you gotta marry this chick because I'm scared of Wesley Snipes' character. But Wesley Snipes, it was a breath of fresh air seeing him. I just like Wesley, man. Make sure you pay your taxes, man. Pay your taxes. We want to see you, man. Pay your taxes. But yeah, I like this character as well. But that leads me into one of the, I guess, the fight scenes. And he pretty much lost to Eddie Murphy's daughter. Hakeem, I keep saying Eddie Murphy. Hakeem. Hakeem's daughter. He lost to her in a fight. And I had a hard time believing that. But, you got to sit back and like, okay, this is more family oriented. So I guess it would kind of make sense. It just felt real kiddie. It didn't feel as mature and edgy as the first movie did. Of course, it wasn't supposed to, because it wasn't meant for that type of audience, which kind of killed this sequel as well. A lot of people were expecting, the raunchiness of part one, the maturity of it, and it just wasn't there in this movie. Anything else I have to talk about here? So I talked about that scene. That was probably the only thing that I was like, I don't know about that. Oh yeah, also the funeral for King Joffrey. I thought that was unique to have a funeral, to still be alive for your funeral. And then he just said, I'm finna die now. And then he died. So I thought that was funny. Some people may have had a problem with that. I thought that was silly. I thought it was funny. I liked it. Let's see. Other than that, that's pretty much it, man. I thought it was just a nice nostalgia trip, but I'm not coming back to this movie anytime soon. It was just good to see everybody. Pretty much everybody was in this movie, from the barbershop guys who don't age, and Randy Watson and the McDowells and yeah, I think pretty much everybody was in this movie from the servant guy, your queen to be, that guy. I don't remember his name, but and even the woman that was under the Akeem spell, where she was doing barking the dog, woof, woof, that girl. Um, so yeah, it was nice seeing everybody. It was a nice nostalgia trip. But that's pretty much it. My thoughts on Coming to America 2. Nice nostalgia, but I'm not coming back to it. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and end this podcast with music, of course. This is mainly a music podcast, even though I talk about other forms of media, movies, TV, things like that. Speaking of TV, I'm only gonna talk about it for this short period. I never did my review for the season finale of Power Book Ghost 2. I had my doubts. I did not know if Tariq was going to carry the show, but with him along with the other cast, I really liked the first season. I'm looking forward to the second season, and hopefully I'll do more reviews, but I missed out on doing a finale, so it makes no sense to do a review now. But I just thought, I'd go ahead and share my thoughts on that as well. Okay, so real quick, gonna go ahead and get into my top albums. I usually do top 10, but I was looking through, I was like, dang, I don't think I listened to 10 albums this year. I listened to like maybe 6 or 7. But I'm going to do pretty much my top 5, and I'm going to start out with a honorable mention here. Honorable mention goes to 3:15:20 Childish Gambino. I had to put it in the honorable mention because he had no album cover. I'm like, I get the whole, want to be different and want to go left. And this album was very left, but I still loved it. But yeah, just the white blank album cover. Come on, man, you got to give me something else. But other than that, yeah, I liked it. But I haven't come back to it as much of late. So just on the replayability factor, I just haven't come to it as much. But it's a good album. A lot of different sounds, electronic, funk, hip hop, things like that. So yeah, but I look forward to another album if he's coming with it. So but I'm going to be giving that one honorable mention. So I'm going to get into my top 5 now, starting off with Logic, No Pressure, which is supposed to be his final album. Rappers Are Liars. It's not his last album. He's going to pull that Jay-Z, I'm back. You gonna do that Kingdom Come on him, man. Nah, he gonna disappear for a little minute, do his little Twitch gaming thing, and then he's gonna come back. I don't believe that dude. But if this was truly his final album, I guess it served as a nice ending, for his rap career. But I still believe the original Under Pressure was his best album today. He still hasn't surpassed that, in my opinion. It's kind of just here, as far as his discography is concerned. So, but I like some of the callbacks of the album. The Soul Food 2, I would say Aquarius is one of my favorite tracks on there as well. And also I think it's Dad Bod, and this album kind of encompasses that theme in that song, kind of like where he is now. He's not rapping about the same thing, and it's understandable. So I like, I think that was a good ending for him, if this is indeed his final album, but I don't think it is. So moving on into number 4 and 3, which are both Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas dropped 2 albums I say ADHD. I put ADHD at 4 because he did that silly BS where he was putting out singles and and not putting the album out right there. I like don't put singles out. Just give me the album and I'll choose what I want to listen to. That whole reasoning of, well, I want to let each song breathe and get his attention. Forget that. Nah, give me the album and let me figure out what I want to hear. That's the joy of getting an album. I want to hear those deep cuts. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that was my only problem with ADHD. But for the most part, I like pretty much that full album. And he did a nice follow up with Evolution as well, which y'all heard me play at the beginning of the podcast, Snitch. So I was like, I had to play that, and this is going to be a nice intro for what I got to talk about tonight with, the whole Judas and the Black Messiah and the Snitch thing. So, yeah. Going into number 3 from the TDE count, Reason. Even though he described this as a mixtape, we gonna count this as an album today. I hate when rappers do that stuff, man. I ought to give them a rank down for doing that. Oh, it's a mixtape. It's an album, man. It's like 18 tracks on there or something like that, maybe 16. But yeah, I like how he starts off the gate. Stories I Forgot, that's my jam, and then it goes right into pop. Trying not to cuss, with Schoolboy Q, and then those first couple tracks on there are just straight heat fire, and then he slows it down a little bit, and then it starts to get real I guess introspective towards the end of the album with that storytelling. And I think that's why I placed this above Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas, he had some good songs on there, but I don't feel like it was conceptual, or there was some type of story going on in the album. I like storytelling in the albums, so that was a plus for me. So I just ranked it a little bit higher than Joyner Lucas. But I say quality wise, songs were good, and so hopefully when he comes with this album, it's gonna be fire. So Reason gets number 3. Moving on into number 2, I would have to go with The Allegory, Royce the 5'9". Man, that album is just like mental overload. I'm googling, and I gotta get a thesaurus for this thing, man. When you listen to that album, definitely an album that'll make you think, but also goes very hard on some songs, but it's definitely one of those woke conscious type of albums, but some you can jam to at the same time. The lyrics are amazing, the beats, the Cedric the Entertainer is amazing. I did not know there was the guy doing the radio voice during that. I found out that was Cedric Entertainer. I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that. I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head here. Of course, I say one of the songs that stand out to me is the Death of the Dope Dealer. Dope man, please, can I have another hit? Dope man, please. And then I like how he starts off with the skit where the dude is basically teaching his kids about, I guess their self-worth and how to protect themselves. And then there was a scene where he's asking the girl, what kind of round is this? Because he's teaching about guns and ammunition and stuff like that. So I thought those were nice things littered throughout the album with the skits. And then it kind of ties into the Judas and the Black Messiah talk, because I think one of the question was who was Huey P. Newton, who was the leader of the Black Panthers. So that kind of ties into what I was talking about tonight. Very militant album as well. So it's just all kind of game littered throughout that album. If you just want to if you on some woke stuff, you just want to hear some lyrical, some substance, this is definitely what you hear. But yeah, that's my number 2 album. Sorry if I was a little all over the place on that one. I'm just kind of thinking off the dome right now. And number 1. They snubbed him at the Grammys, but you will not be snubbed here on the Catch Up Podcast. My number 1 album for 2020. The Weeknd, After Hours. Air horn. I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe. I gotta turn it down. Turn it down. I think Weeknd is one of those artists don't play when you play his music. They'll copyright you real quick. But that was my number 1 album of 2020. I've been jamming this all year. This whole album, I pretty much like the whole album. It follows suit of Starboy. Starboy was, there was that hip hop, and then you had that electronic 80s feel, and even more so on this album right here. And I like how he came out with the videos, and he's been playing this character with the red suit, and you feel like he's been wearing that damn suit everywhere he goes. I'm growing my fro out so I can wear this suit next Halloween. I'm gonna get me a red suit and some glasses and a band-aid, put it on my nose, and I'm gonna be the Weeknd for the Halloween. But yeah, man, I thought, that whole concept of that album, and this guy's just went from being brokenhearted, at the start of the album, he's pretty much in a club throwing dollars, feeling sorry for himself, and then, he goes from that to just F this and heartless, never need a chick, I'm what a chick need, right? To back to being in love, and to the last daggum song, he talks about freaking I want to cut you out my veins, I need to get you out of my life, until I bleed it out. That's the last song. I like that too. And then freaking what's that other song, man? Is it Faith? Well, he said he want the chick to overdose with him and all kind of stuff. I don't know anything about the life the Weeknd lives, but I like him singing about it. But yeah, man, this whole album is just awesome. Love the Weeknd. I think his later stuff is better. I like this Weeknd better than the darker Weeknd, the Beauty Behind the Madness, even though I like that album too. But I like this mix of hip hop and 80s vibe, and I just love it. So yeah, number 1 album of 2020 goes to The Weeknd, After Hours. I suggest y'all go check that out if you haven't yet. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for tonight. I got through this podcast finally. Oh my God, this has been such a freaking monkey on my back. I've known I need to do this, and I never did. So hopefully I can get back to consistently doing this podcast. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Yeah. I guess before I close out, where to find the podcast, let me see here. Let me bring up my header. You find the video version of this on YouTube, on the JH Review. Also, the audio versions will be uploaded to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or wherever you listen to your audio podcast. All right, guys, so that's gonna be it. Woo! Finally got through it. Come on, man. Let's play it out. I'm out of here, you guys.
Hey, yo. It's the catch up. You should catch up. We gon' catch up. It's the catch up. You should catch up. we gon' catch up. Oh yeah, it's the catch up. You should catch up. We gon' catch up. Oh yeah, it's the catch up. You should catch up. We gon' catch up.